taking you back to the scriptures again from what I studied. It says, if you by the Spirit mortify the deeds of the flesh, you live. So are you saying the only person who has the ability and the power and the resolve and what it takes to confront our flesh and to deal with it is only the Spirit of God, but there's nothing we can do by ourselves?
Otherwise, Romans chapter 7 is just a lie.
Can you clarify what to do?
In Romans chapter 7, it says, hey, I receive in my mind the law of God, but I find in my body another law that fights the law that I receive in my mind. And the things that I want to do, I find myself not being able to do. And the things that I resolutely said I'm not going to do, I find myself doing. In other words, Paul is saying, the flesh cannot please God. A carnal mindset is enmity with God.
Say it again.
It cannot submit. It's enmity. That means it's an enemy of God. So if you have your mind on the flesh and not on the Spirit, and you cannot have the mind on the Spirit if the Spirit doesn't dwell in you, because the mind goes inside, not outside. Forget about that. So in order to have your mind on the Spirit needs to dwell in you. If the Spirit doesn't dwell in you, the only thing the mind can do is to be flesh, carnal. Well, this mind that is carnal is enmity against God. And he said very clearly after that, and as a result, consequently, it cannot submit to the law of God.
That means it can't obey.
It's right there, yes. So Romans
no matter what you do.
Yes, so Romans chapter 7 is concentrated in this statement that people with carnal minds and a carnal mindset is enmity with God, try to obey a law and they find that it's impossible.
So instead of you struggling to overcome your flesh and live holy and become what is to stop it,
yes,
the only thing you just need to do is to make sure that you have the Spirit of God with you, because possessing Him, from what you're saying, is coming with one as not only He has many as but one of the first thing He wants to do is to make sure that the flesh you cannot conquer, you cannot kill, you cannot do anything about it. He's coming to be able to deal with it for you. So therefore, it is not your own strength fighting and, let me say this, I'll clarify this. Even if you fast and you don't have the Spirit, you still can change because you don't have what it takes to be able to. Is that right?
Yes.
Even if you pray for hours, even if you keep yourself away from sin, whatever you do, if you don't have the Spirit, the flesh cannot die. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
all
that's
right,
correct.
So Pastor, then the question is, therefore God then gave us the Spirit because He knew we can't confront the flesh by ourselves. He wants the flesh to help us to overcome it. How do you, because in the church now, we talk about the Spirit, we talk about revival, we talk about the presence, we talk about spirit. We've written books about it. Why is it that we have so much information and knowledge about the Spirit and everything we talk about the Spirit, and the congregation have not been able to possess the Spirit or have the Spirit indwelling in them for this transformation to take place?
There is a misleading focus in Christian churches today. Okay. God did not call us to obey the law. God did not call us to obey the law. God did not call us to fulfill the law. This is not the role of a Christian life.
So please, I will let you go. I just want to clarify this. So as a man of God, I don't have to preach to you to try to make you fulfill the law, the rules of it. Don't go and fornicate. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Do you know what you are doing, Pastor?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Clarify what you're saying.
God called us to let the Spirit fulfill the law in us. And it's not my word.
Yes, it's in the word.
Yes. It's in the word. That the Spirit might fulfill the word, the law of God in us. Yes. Why is that? When the Spirit fulfills the law of God in us, He fulfills it in our minds, He fulfills it in our hearts, He fulfills it in our flesh, in our carnality. Then a flesh in which the law of God is fulfilled is a flesh that desires the law, that is not struggling to fulfill the law. it becomes natural for this flesh to actually bring the fruit of the law. You see, when a Christian is led to believe that the call of his life is from now on to fulfill the law, he is struggling and striving in that direction. He is failing most of the time, and at times becomes successful. And those sporadic success there and there and there and there keeps motivating them and making them believe that actually it might be possible that this, through being more attentive, put more desire, put more power will at work, be more, then at one point you might become successful. No. So the premises is wrong from the start. God did not call us to fulfill the law. He called us to let the Spirit fulfill the law in us, and then with this tree modify to produce the right fruit of the law by the Spirit, then yes, we are going to produce the right fruit. The mind is going to produce the right thoughts. The heart is going to produce the right feeling. The body is going to produce the right reaction to a temptation coming from outside. Paul said, when you are carnal, the temptation from outside finds in your flesh, in your carnality, an answer that makes it impossible for you to resist the temptation. But when this carnality and flesh is modified by the Spirit to be in tune, in sync with the law, the temptation from outside doesn't stir up in your flesh nothing.